I will teach literacy with a desire to motivate and inspire my students' success and learning journey. Using a plethora of strategies, I can make instructional decisions as well as guide my students' journey the way I see fit. My philosophy incorporates a constructivist approach through the schema theory, metacognition theory, psycholinguistic theory, and engagement theory. I will also be determined to incorporate a behavior structure with the guidance of classical conditioning and the optimal learning model. My students will scaffold their schema or previous knowledge and what they know about people, places, language, and other things to help them comprehend texts and books. As an educator, I want to build off of students' background knowledge prior to reading books or novels because it will help them become avid learners. My students will have the opportunity to build off of previous schemata while constructing new schemata. My students will be able to understand their own reading, writing, and thinking process through my focus of metacognition. Strategies such as questioning, rereading, summarizing, and connecting will be encouraged in my classroom in order for students to become skilled readers. Throughout these strategies, readers typically use semantics, syntax, and graphophonic skills to decode the reading or text given. In order for me to assess these skills, I will use miscue analysis after students have a grasp on their own metacognitive process. This will help to observe what skills they use to make sense of the text given. This will also help me as a teacher realize where students need help and what they already understand. As a teacher, I want to be able to label all of my students as engaged readers. Using the engagement theory, I will increase students' love for reading and writing. According to Tracy Amaro, engaged readers are those who read frequently, talk about what they are reading, and reflect on the conceptual context. 5 components that I will implement in my classroom stem from the concept-oriented reading approach, which include the use of themes in reading instruction, an emphasis on student choice for both reading text and responses, the use of hands-on activities, the availability of a wide variety of text genres, and the integration of social collaboration into reading response activities. These components will help motivate students to read and reflect about text given. According to behaviorists, the outcome of learning is due to a change or changes in behavior. The classical conditioning theory states that learning occurs through connections and association. I want my students to associate reading with success instead of failure. To do this, I will have individual time with my students and have them practice their reading with my guidance until they become independent and comfortable. I will teach my students at the beginning of the year that when I clap 2 times, I want them to participate in drop everything and read, or deer time. After repeating this several times within the first couple of weeks, students will associate the claps with reading time. It is not enough that we know how and what to teach. We teachers must, at the same time, provide the conditions, respect, joy, engagement, success, and encouragement that make continuous learning possible. In order to make continuous learning possible, I will follow the optimal learning model, which steers students into independency by creating a learning environment that encourages children to take risks, set goals, and monitor progress. The optimal learning model will allow me to put more time and energy into what students need rather than focus on a structured literacy program. Through continuous demonstrations, practice, and support, I will allow my students to become independent and in control of their own learning. In order to teach up to the Common Core standards, I will incorporate the components of literacy such as comprehension, fluency, phonics, writing, and vocabulary. These components will be studied through various games, activities, writing journals, webbing, and word studies. As a teacher, I want my students to have the opportunity to express their identity through their individual culture, religion, race, and background. To do so, I will ask them to do various projects throughout the year that defines who they are and where they come from. I will have a very diverse classroom, practicing equity throughout my teaching journey. English language learners in my classroom will feel comfortable and relaxed because I will adjust my teaching aims that will benefit them. This includes providing visuals, allowing them to choose texts, and creating a before reading lesson. In conclusion, incorporating my teaching philosophy of literacy in my future classroom is something that is very valuable to me.